Virtual sexual reality. Sounds a bit sexy, doesn't it? Virtual sexual reality. Actually, it's a series of books by Chloe Rayban, which was a nom de plume for author Carolyn Bear.
Here goes. I'm Justine Alice Parker. I've got 18 pairs of knickers, 14 pairs of shoes, not including the trainers. I'm a vegetarian, sort of, and I'm a virgin. So I've got to choose a bloke to, do it with.
Now, Alex is cute, but not very romantic.
Rumour has it you're not out of the box yet.
Chaz is sweet, but also kind of a geek. Maybe I should be more like Hoover.
Ever had a Jack Russell try to do it to your leg?
Well, maybe not. But guess what I'm saying is, I want it to be absolutely perfect.
What does that say to you?
Desperate?
Well, I say,
Door closing.
if you can't find the man of your dreams,
Body toning selected.
make him yourself.
Photo real.
Copy.
Wow!
At some point in the 1990s, Canal Plus from France joined with Columbia TriStar from America to have a joint film company venture that would bridge the gap between both companies when they wanted to release their films and make it less full of red tape. What did they call this company? The Bridge. Yeah, real imaginative. British film producer Christopher Figg called The Bridge and told them that he had optioned a book called Virtual Sexuality to make into a film. Figg wrote in screenwriter Nick Fisher, who had previously written for teen magazines and newspapers, and was looking to move into screenwriting. It took only 3 drafts of the script before the producers were happy to go into filming. A rarity in any decade. Laura Fraser was cast as Justine, the teenager looking for the perfect guy. She was an up-and-coming actress that had the perfect attitude for that character. Someone who liked to party, liked to have a good time, and had a carefree attitude. Rupert Penry-Jones was cast as Jake, the perfect man who Justine creates at the virtual reality show and then body swaps with him as he comes to life. However, Penry-Jones was lucky because he almost didn't get the job. There was another young man who had flown over from Australia to read for the role before heading off to Hollywood. His name? Heath Ledger. Everybody was blown away by Ledger's read-through, even if he was wearing a long trench coat with a big scarf during the middle of summer. But then he flew off to read for a part in a film called 10 Things I Hate About You and never returned. The 90s was a dominant era for new British music, and Virtual Sexuality's soundtrack has a lot of bangers on there, including All Saints, Pocket Size and Imogen Heap. It also has Destiny's Child on there. I mean, mainly it's middle-of-the-road pop tunes, but there's a couple of club bangers on there that feature in the club scene, which, incidentally, I'm pretty sure features legendary British DJ Danny Rampling behind the decks. Virtual Sexuality stood no chance at the box office when it was released in the summer of 1999. The Matrix was still pulling in the crowds. The Mummy had just been released, and Columbia TriStar, Virtual Sexuality's own production company, scheduled 10 Things I Hate About You up against it as well. To add insult to injury, The Bridge, the joint production company between Canal Plus and Columbia TriStar, fell apart directly after the release of Virtual Sexuality. The critics didn't like the film either, except for the film critic of the Sun newspaper, a guy called Nick Fisher, who was also the writer of the film. One of the taglines for Virtual Sexuality was, "It's weird science meets dating the enemy." Whereas I would have described it as The Fly, remade by Richard Curtis in the 1990s. It may have that body swapness about it, but this film is more about the twee romance and sex on offer. And as such, it plays more like a Richard Curtis film than a John Hughes movie. But that's not to say that Virtual Sexuality doesn't go beyond some of John Hughes' work, because it does. When it explores the themes of teenage sexuality, this movie digs a little deeper. Maybe that's because it's British and it hits the zeitgeist better than an American coming-of-age high school film could ever do. This is a movie that takes the body swap comedies that have been a staple of the film industry for decades and adds a 90s decade twist to it, which at the time was super modern because it was CGI virtual reality, and you also had a lead character being a spunky female from the girl power era. And speaking of lead character, can Justine be seen as a manic pixie dream girl? I don't believe she can. She may operate close to the border of that phrase, but Justine is the lead character, a character that is on a journey of sexual discovery. She's not some stock character that is there simply to bump up the male lead's ego and sex drive. Justine is desperate to lose her virginity, but not to any bloke. She has the smarts to know that hopping into bed with anyone is not going to serve her well. She wants a connection with someone who will arouse not just her body but her mind as well. Justine has enough confidence to be a bold woman who takes no shit from men. This is another example of a 90s feature film character who is a strong, powerful female. It's just a shame that Justine gets overlooked when the subject of female empowerment in movies is discussed. There's one thing I can't get my head around with virtual sexuality. Why wasn't Laura Fraser a huge star off the back of this film? Her performance here has all of the hallmarks of many similar performances from British actresses around the same time that went on to bigger and better things. Kate Winslet, Rachel Weisz, Catherine Zeta-Jones all starred in the same sort of performances as what Laura Fraser gives in this movie. Funny, witty, occasionally self-deprecating, and most of all incredibly down-to-earth and very likeable. So this video is a call to arms for virtual sexuality being an underappreciated British film from the 1990s, and also for Laura Fraser being a hugely undervalued British actress back in the 1990s.
Where are my clothes? Why am I naked?
Oh, goodness, so you are. I hadn't noticed.
And it worked.
Sex on 2 legs. Yes. What I need now is a nurse's uniform, some handcuffs.
Everything was going perfectly.
This is the most romantic night of my entire life.
Until I turned my back for 1 second.
I need some information about a man.
It was like it had a life of its own. I could feel it pulsating.
Now everybody wants a piece of him.
Operation Snatch.
Now I need to get him back.
Can you make a diversion? Nice diversion.
Virtual Sexuality, the new cyber sexy comedy.
If only blokes had barcode, it would be so easy.